A single tear traced a path down Sarah's cheek, leaving a clean streak through the film of dust that had settled on her face. Her eyelids fluttered closed, momentarily blocking the sight of the old, worn Bible resting on her lap. Its leather cover, once rich burgundy, was now faded and scarred, mirroring the emotional landscape of its owner. Sarah's husband, John, had gifted it to her on their silver wedding anniversary, a testament to their enduring love and faith. But now, cradled in the sterile environment of the hospice room, it seemed more like a relic of a bygone era than a symbol of everlasting devotion. For the past 2 years, John had been trapped within the confines of this hospital bed, ravaged by an aggressive form of Alzheimer's that robbed him not just of his memory, but of his very essence. His once twinkling blue eyes, windows to a soul as vast and deep as the ocean, were now clouded with confusion, reflecting nothing of the brilliant man she had loved for over 50 years. The vibrant tapestry of their shared life, woven with threads of joy, sorrow, triumph, and peace, was unraveling at an alarming rate. Each day that passed, the fabric of their marriage grew more fragile, hanging by a thread as Sarah tirelessly wove in the remnants of fading memories, trying to stitch their love back together. She had read this Bible to John countless times, each page imbued with the echoes of their shared faith. Yet today, as she turned its brittle pages, the words blurred before her eyes. The stories that had once brought them comfort now seemed distant and irrelevant. What use were ancient parables in a room devoid of hope? With a trembling hand, she reached out to touch the faded embossed lettering on the cover. The words to my beloved, forever yours, mocked her with their unwavering certainty. How could anything be forever when everything, including love, was subject to change? A strangled sob escaped her lips as the weight of her situation crashed down upon her. This Bible, this tangible symbol of their enduring bond, offered no solace now. In fact, its very permanence, its resistance to the relentless march of time, was a painful reminder of the impermanence of everything else. Even her, John, the anchor of her existence, was slipping away, leaving her adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The rhythmic hum of the machines monitoring John's failing health filled the air, a mechanical dirge accompanying the slow pantomime of death playing out in the sterile room. Sarah's gaze drifted to the framed photograph on the bedside cabinet, capturing a younger, healthier version of John and herself on their wedding day. The vibrant image was a painful contrast to the present reality. In that picture, John's eyes, clear and bright, were locked onto hers, promising a forever that seemed cruelly ironic now. Her fingers tightened around the worn fabric of her dress. The material, once a symbol of her undying devotion, now felt like a shroud suffocating her with memories. Why had she clung so tightly to the idea of forever? What had compelled her to believe that love of all things could defy the relentless passage of time? The realization that her forever had been an illusion, a fairy tale she had unwisely embraced, brought fresh waves of grief crashing over her. The strength that had sustained her for 2 long years threatened to crumble. The harsh fluorescent lighting of the hospital room seemed to amplify the hollowness echoing within her. Where had all the years gone? Where had the laughter, the shared dreams, the silent understanding that had bound them together gone? Were they now nothing but wisps of smoke lost in the vast expanse of eternity? Was their love story nothing but a fleeting footnote in the grand narrative of existence? The mere thought of such a cruel jest was unbearable. A sudden surge of anger coursed through Sarah, hot and sharp like shards of glass, piercing her chest. Why had life dealt them this cruel hand? What had they ever done to deserve this agonizing farewell? The injustice of it all, the sheer pettiness of existence overwhelmed her. To have loved and lost so deeply, to have given so much only to be met with such callous indifference from fate seemed utterly unfair. The world outside this sterile room continued on oblivious, its joys and sorrows, triumphs and failures, a meaningless spectacle to which she was no longer connected. Sarah's gaze swept across the room, taking in the stark reality of her situation. The hospital walls, once a temporary barrier between her and the outside world, had become the confining walls of her universe. The rhythmic beep of the machines was the soundtrack to her diminishing hopes. The air itself seemed heavy with the metallic scent of despair. The very fabric of the room seemed to be closing in on her, suffocating her with the finality of it all. And yet, amidst the suffocating grip of despair, a tiny ember of defiance flickered within Sarah. Despite the wreckage of her shattered dreams, she refused to surrender. She would not let John's fading presence extinguish the flame of their enduring love. With newfound determination, she straightened her frail frame, her gaze hardening with resolve. This room might be her prison, but her spirit remained unbroken. She would not be defeated. As the last rays of sunlight dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the room, Sarah leaned closer to John's unresponsive form, the cool touch of his skin beneath her fingertips. Scent. A jolt of emotion through her. Was this the legacy of their love, reduced to the chilling embrace of a corpse? Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, blurring the image of the man she had loved for so many years. Was this the bitter fruit of their enduring bond? A love story that defied happily ever after. Yet even in this abyss of despair, a sliver of understanding dawned on Sarah. Perhaps the truest measure of love was not in forever, but in the totality of experience, in embracing the full spectrum of existence. The highs and lows, the joys and sorrows, the triumphs and failures, the presence and absence. To love in its entirety was to love without reservation, without expectation, without the burden of a happy ending. Love that dared to exist authentically in the face of life's relentless churn. It was a love that transcended happily ever after. As darkness enveloped the room, enveloping Sarah and John in its comforting embrace, she knew that their story, like all stories, must reach its conclusion. Yet in the quiet finality of it all, Sarah felt a profound sense of peace. Their love, once a beacon guiding them through life's journey, now illuminated the path to her own personal reckoning. The time had come for her to let go, to release the remnants of their shared past and step into the unknown future that lay before her. The power of letting go was not in surrender, but in acceptance, in finding solace in the midst of despair, in cherishing the memory of their love while embracing the inevitability of its physical dissolution. It was in recognizing that their story, like all stories, had reached its natural end. And that perhaps the greatest testament to their enduring bond was not in an eternal happily ever after, but in the courage to face the now with grace and dignity.